Sorry, this is in the car. I've been I've been uh I've been on this for quite a second now, but it only came to me now that I should maybe record it. But I don't know. I was before I started recording this, I was talking about therapy, and I mean, I've been through the sort of the song and dance of like the corrections, right? The correctional way of how to think and feel, what emotions to present. The whole thing, the whole point of therapy is to make it so that your thoughts and feelings don't present the problem to anyone else except for yourself. And when it gets to the point where it is actually someone else's issue, that's when it becomes a major problem, and that's when you become institutionalized. And I've been in that scenario before. Um, it wasn't very long, mind you, but they the thing is for people that are like considered mentally ill, quote unquote, is that they've been demoted from human to like some sort of animal, some like bug. I want to think like a little centipede, you know. I don't know why centipede, but those things are pretty cool. So yeah. Um, but it's like the second you make the mistake of like expressing how you feel, and if those thoughts fall into like the playbook of uh like wrong thinking, which is genuinely just something that is like that unironically that is something that like psychiatrists and the such will say is like, oh, this is wrong thinking. This thinking is wrong, This is irrational thinking. That's the one they used for me was I believe it's called cognitive behavioral therapy now, but it's when I underwent that grueling process, it was called rational behavior training. Um, and what they'll do is that they'll say, instead of thinking bad thoughts, let's think good ones. So it's and I hate to use this like modern psych term bullshit language, but like it's like gaslighting you into thinking this is okay and that you can think this. Like especially it's like it like teaches you that even if you're like in the worst scenario, if you react, sorry, emotionally or irrationally, you get like you're wrong, that's like bad, which is insane to me because you're completely disregarding human behavior in such a silly sense because human behavior and like historical figures, like literally every single like thing, right? Every sort of innovation or progress or step in human like evolution and fucking history has been because irrational or emotional behavior. People like start entire like we have systems that have been in place for like millions of years that get uprooted and changed for the better because of like human emotion and irrationality. And this is from the perspective of someone who is not like who believes that we are progressing. Obviously if you're like if you present yourself as some sort of Luddite, then you won't say that we've been, that these like progressions in human behavior have been all that good for us, which let's be perfectly clear here, that they have not been. But if you're thinking from the perspective of someone who believes that modern like regular therapy will actually help someone, then you should believe in the sense that, oh, okay, these things that have helped, so-called helped us are actually good things and that they're improving society and culture as a whole. So you should understand then, in that case, that irrational and emotional behavior helps humanity, which I'm still of that opinion that irrational and emotional behavior helps us because we are emotional and erratic beings that deserve to express that thought. Because once you fall into the pit of rationality and what is considered rational by a government which has no basis in how human behavior actually works and would rather have you understand yourself as like an economic unit and only understand yourself in the sense of what you can give to your government, then in that case, I absolutely do not want to be rational because that would spell the death of all individuality for me and the death of myself as a person. So it's like it's entirely like it's it's um it's a very bad situation to be in to oppose rationality in the modern day and age, but then use that argument because it's kind of weirdly contradictory. But maybe I'll write about this. I don't know, but it's like every single thing about mental health and every single thing about like how humanity should act is a massive lie. There is no state in which humanity should act. There is no one set mental health, like one set mental state that humanity should act within. There is no such thing as a mental illness because that implies that there can be a sound and healthy mental state under any circumstance. But that simply isn't true because humans are so different, different races, different upbringings, different, backgrounds, life stories, poverty, especially class. Class is kind of the biggest dividing factor other than race, right? Where it's like if you are from a different class, your mind is going to develop in an entirely different method than someone who is like rich as hell and has never had to work a day in their life. If you're like a struggling blue collar worker, like you're not going to have the same thought patterns as anyone else. Like you're or like not even like fellow blue class workers. Blue collar, blue class. Did I say blue class both those times? I'm stupid, but you understand what I mean. Both like two different blue collar workers are going to have some similarities between them, but they're also going to think entirely different. You know, if I'm like a mixed race like mutt, right? And then I'm talking to like some bitch who's never fucking had to work a day in her life and does nothing except leech off men for like because she's pretty or whatever. Like I'm probably gonna be fucked up in the head, right? I'm by societal and cultural standards. I'm going to be the problem while this like slut for back like lack of a better word, which is what they are, by the way. They're whores and sluts. Most women are. But it's just like when you get to that point, it's like, okay, these people, like, what's that? Which one do you want to be the standard? Which one do you want to be the mental standard? Like me or a fucking like prostitute, you know, a street like a night crawler. Which it feels like most people are fucking selling themselves in some way or another, selling their body, selling their mind, There's nothing sacred anymore where it's like you can just have something to yourself that isn't marketed as like some disgusting product to be commodified and to be like entirely used for profit by someone else, Everything, literally everything, from like the worst humanitarian tragedies in the world to like, you know, like, oh, look at cute Hello Kitty. And then there's also some fucking shitbag selling something about like 9/11 or some shit. I don't fucking know. Ugh, it's just like, God, I just hate it. I've been going fucking crazy in my small little fucking room, going to work and going to school every day. I don't have any friends in real life. I have nothing practically. I mean, you know, through like any like a normal lens, I feel like I'm in a pretty advantageous position because I have my own house and I can pay it off and I can pay rent and I'm not facing homelessness anytime soon, even though I was for a little bit. But at the same time, I'm entirely isolated from the outside world. People usually find me off-putting or weird or scary, which I really don't know why. Where it's like I had this girl who was buying me cigarettes and then she was like, I actually don't want to do this anymore because I feel like it's self-destructive. And it's like, who are you to like who are you to like police over my own actions? I'm offering you something in return for you giving me something, and it's like, just give me the fucking pack, you ah I'm a little bit upset if you couldn't tell. Not over anything in particular. I just get upset over things. I'd like to present myself as someone who's entirely calm in any case, but that's simply not true. And considering I just went on a rant about like rationality and irrationality, and how like being an irrational, erratic person is actually like a good thing, it's just like, okay, well now he's not being that, and now it kind of sucks, right? Ah, Lord, it's just something that I can't. It's something so like intertwined with my faith and everything. It's just like, how can anyone act as if the world now today is something enviable and something to be like enjoyed? There are little parts and pieces of it to be enjoyed. Like nature is something I take great solace in because it's just something that I can like enjoy and it's untouched, you know? There's nothing about it that has been like completely and utterly destroyed by humanity and its vices. But at the same time, there's less and less of it literally every day. And it's just like, it's disgusting to see. And it's made me develop such a resent for like capitalistic practices and like, I hate to be that guy, but the like industrial, like post-industrial like nation building and economic practice is just like, we need to destroy literally every sacred part of the world so we can make the green line go up. And at the same time, it's like all this bullshit politically. Like I believe I've spoken on this before. Hopefully I have in a much more calm state, but I've become so disenfranchised by everything politically. I don't believe there's a single political movement that represents me and my thoughts politically as a person, especially in the mainstream, because there's just nothing there. I could fucking sit and LARP and be like a white nationalist LARPer my whole fucking life. That doesn't change the fact I'm fucking brown as shit, and my dad couldn't keep his dick in his pants and had to fuck some slut from, South America because he was bored in the army. But fuck. Nah, that's I resent that. I resent that a lot. Oh, there's a fucking cop on the road probably. Goddamn everywhere, dude. Literally everywhere. Literally fucking everywhere I go, dude. There's at least one like tailing me. But it's like, yeah, dude, you know, couldn't keep your fucking dick in your pants and you doomed me to like cultural like incongruence my whole life because I'm not white enough to be like a white nationalist and fit in with white people. And I'm not like brown enough to be like a brown person. And the only people who will probably not give a shit about me being like a mixed like mulatto fucking mutt is like a lip shit retards and other mutts. It's like great. That's my community now. Thanks. I really appreciate that one. That was a real winning move from you, Dad. Thanks. Thanks, Mom. It's not as if I hate them or anything, but it's just like, God, you already doomed one child to that, and they became like a fucking trans pedophile, like awesome, dude. And just look at where you're. And I'm considered the more successful child to them, by the way. They consider me the more successful one, and then they proceed to kick me out the fucking house when I'm 18 for some dumb bullshit. It's like, all right, man, cool. Why did you even have children? You already doomed one child to a life of mediocrity and like weird lust and vice. And your decision after that is like, let's have another. Let's have another one. What a great decision. What great decision makers you guys are. For fuck's sake. I shouldn't be spitting this much vile, but it's something that I do and that I will probably not stop until the day I die. And I'll never actually consider the fact that it's very sinful and very wrong for me to do. But we're all sinners, me worse than most. I'm a very large sinner. I don't love sinning. I actually quite dislike it because then I feel very bad afterwards. But I continue to do so because I'm imperfect as a human. And the fact that I am not Christ-like is very disgusting to me. I am disgusted by my human form. I despise it to no end. I hate my body. I hate my face. I hate every single part of myself. And I wish I could be some sort of formless, shapeless being, more entwined with Christ and God than anything else on this planet. But unfortunately, things don't work like that. And that's nothing but like vague, retarded wish fulfillment because I want some sort of escapism from the modern life that I've led for so long. 18 years of this bullshit. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm talking about at this point, man. I'm just I don't even know. This is good though. This is good for me. Just getting all this off my chest. There's a lot of vile that I just need to spit and just be like just like talk, just talk, Just spit out some bullshit from my brain and just like, you know, look at me. Look at me. Witness me. You know, I'm real. I'm human. Look at me. Look at me. I exist. You know, I don't think anyone recognizes me as a human person. I feel as though I'm just kind of like a side character. People like look at me and recognize there's something there, but they don't realize it's like someone. They don't realize it's a person with thoughts and feelings and emotions and a brain and like, a whole life, you know? Even my friends, even the people I talk to, which I don't even know if they're friends at this point. I don't know if I can even consider them friends. It's more as if they just see me as a court jester. I've been acting as a jester for my entire life. Some sort of like sick laugh factory for fucking dumb freaks. I don't know. That's just how my life feels. But yeah. I want to expand on that last thought. I'll probably speak on that when it's late at night and I'm, really sad for no particular reason. It's just anger and sadness and anger and sadness and anger and sadness, and that's just how it's been recently. Just a wave of a rot of just horrible, horrid emotion after the next, and I do quite despise it. But geez, wow, this is a real packed fucking parking lot. The things I do just to get to work, man, insane. Anyways, yeah, that's gotta go work my fucking wagey job for no money. Love my life.